One of the largest causes of employees taking time off work for the last 3 years has been stress. It's actually an epidemic in the Western world. And I'm here with Dr. Annika Sorensen from Sweden to talk about this very issue and how we can make a change. Annika, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much for having me. It's very nice.
Annika, so you are a family practitioner, but you've also done a lot of research around stress. What have you found in your own practice?
Yes, I'm a family doctor. I've been working in Sweden as that, and lately I've been working more with stress-related disease, and I found that this is I would say that 75% of the causes for people to go to the healthcare clinic is caused by how we live, how we treat ourselves. And it's only like 25% that are things that we would call really diseases. So it's a very big issue.
Why do you think that we are all so stressed out?
That's a big question. The society around us are not made for the physiology that we have. That's basically the thing. We have a physiology that is not in line with how we treat it in this modern world, in this 24-hour society that we have today.
I think that's a pretty important point. So you're saying in a 24-hour society, we don't sleep, we're going all the time, we have a million things to do, and that our bodies can't keep up with us?
Yes, that's true. And sleep is the main thing in health. I mean, without sleep, we die. So it's really the main thing. And if we treat ourselves with not sleeping, then we cause chaos within the body, and that deteriorates to all those diseases that this stress and this not very healthy living makes in us.
How can we tell when we're too stressed out? What are some of the signs?
One of the most common one is that you do sleep less, or that your sleep is not good, and we forget things, and we get anxious, we get angry, we're not really ourselves. That's maybe what you could call it. And then on the diseases side, you have hypertension. It's very common, and it's an early sign. And if it goes on with all those stress hormones in the body, then they destroy the systems, and you get cardiovascular disease, we get diabetes, stroke, and in the end we die. And also, of course, it's the other side, it's the mental part. You get depression, and if you in the other end you have the what do you say? You get burnt out. You hit the wall, and all your systems go berserk.
Do you find in your experience that men are more impacted by stress or women?
I'm not really sure there is a difference in how many, but there are differences in what they present as the result of the stress. So it's not the number, it's how it shows in us.
So what does stress look like in women?
In women, we get more stressed out and towards the depression part. And in men, I would say it's more of those things that we normally call ordinary diseases, like cardiovascular disease and hypertension and that kind of stuff. So they kind of present differently, but I would say that there is the same numbers.
So they call you Dr. Calm, and you have written a couple books about moving from chaos to calm. What's the one or two things that people need to understand to start moving from chaos to calm?
Well, the thing is that if you when you're calm, your blood pressure is good, at a good level, your metabolism is a good level, all your systems are working on the physiologically normal level. That's where we want to be. That's what we are built for. And if we are not in that state, then all these stress hormones will keep flowing around in our body and get us all those diseases that we talked about before that we don't want.
Dr. Annika, what are stress hormones?
There are different stress hormones, but the most common one is cortisol, and that's the one that is most known. We have also adrenaline and noradrenaline, and those are in the really acute phases, but the long-term hazardous one is the cortisol. That's the one we should find ways to avoid, really.
So when you have high cortisol, how can that impact your health?
High cortisol impacts our bodies in very many ways, and it's a thing that's very natural and it's normal. You have to have it, but in normal levels. But when you get too much, it really affects the whole body. But the most common ones are that can cause obesity, it can cause diabetes, it affects your cardiovascular system. So it really affects your whole body in the end. So if we go with the high cortisol for a long time, that's when it's dangerous. For a short time, no problem.
So how do we lower this cortisol?
We try to find ways to get calm, to go down, to get back to the basics, the way that we are really meant to be, the way that the body is built for. Because it's built for normal levels of cortisol and all those other stress hormones.
So as Dr. Calm, what are some of the specific ways that we can calm our body back down to this point of balance?
To do stress management and get back to balance, there are two different areas that we have to master. And one is that we have to master the here and now when we get acute situations with the stress, because it just pops on us, and that's one way of one thing that you have to take care of. And the other one is that you have to take care of your long-term management of your life, so that you don't pop into these situations. So it's two different ways of handling it.
So we're talking about the acute, when a stressful situation comes up unexpectedly.
Yeah.
But many of us have lifestyles that just create one crisis after another after another. So what kinds of choices could we make if we're just stressed out all the time to really shift that long-term condition of stress?
If we have stress all the time, then we have to actually take a look at our life. How are we living? We have to find the problem with this is that people don't really understand that they are, and then somebody comes and say, you do this or you do that, and doesn't have to be the right thing for them. So you have to have a system, and that's what I figured out. You have to look at your life in a whole perspective, and I call that taking a virtual helicopter ride, where you look at your whole situation, not just one thing, and not what your neighbor had the problem with or what somebody else had a problem with, but you have to find out what your problem is. So in my model with this helicopter ride, I look at the life from a whole perspective. I call it stress triangle, and it is like it's a triangle, 3 parts. It's the body, how you treat your body, and how you treat your mind, and also how you deal with the platform that you're living on, the base of your body, the base that your body is standing on. because the body and mind is you and the other is the rest of the world. And you have to find ways to treat all of those in balance so that you find the calm part instead of being in the stress part of all these different of all the angles of all those things. So when I work with my groups or one-on-one, then I take this helicopter ride over the wheel of life, which contains the body and the mind and the platform that I divide into 6 different parts. And that is money, work, free time, it's where you live or status in life, it's your network, and it's your intimate family. And you can fit anything in your life into these parts. And then you figure out where you are today in all those parts. And when you figure that out, you're gonna see, where do I want to be in all those parts? And you make a plan for the whole thing. And that's when you see what you really need to change or do, or what you want to do in your life.
So, Dr. Annika, in this wheel of life, can you describe what's inside the wheel of life again?
So when I work with groups, I take this helicopter ride with them, and or one-on-one, of course, too. And we do this helicopter ride over the wheel of life. And the wheel of life has 8 parts. It is the body or health. It is personal development or mindset. It is money. It is work. It is free time, if you have any. It is where you live or status in life. It is your network, and it's your personal network, your intimacy. Those are the 8 parts, and you can put in everything in life in those 8 parts. So we personalize it so that you feel that you're really looking at your own life in this. You look where you are today in all those aspects, and then you have to take a deep look into your future. Where do I want to be? And where do I want to be in all of those 8 pieces? And when I figure that out, we fill the gap with the strategies that you need to have to get there. And when you and then we start to walk that path towards your own goals. And you have, of course, to make a strategy, which one to do first and all that stuff. But that depends on who you are and where you want to go and what the problems are.
So you think that stress is a holistic experience, that if one aspect of our life is out of balance, that even if other areas are going well, we still may experience stress and the debilitating symptoms?
Absolutely. Stress is a whole thing that comes from the whole body or the whole mind. It all connects. Everything is connected in that. So if you are stressed in one way, or if you have a problem somewhere, and even if it does look like your world is perfect, for the rest, this little thing can actually ruin your whole life. Or I had clients where things were kind of okay, and it was the business that was going down. And when we started to look at this, it was the mother-in-law that was the problem, and this was hidden somewhere deep in this guy. And when we fixed that, he was so much better again. So it really can be anything in your life, and it all connects.
So when we talk about fixing something, so in this case, fixing the mother-in-law, like how do you fix your mother-in-law that's stressing you out?
In this case, it wasn't really fixing the mother-in-law. It was fixing the relation between the man and his mother-in-law. And this was a long story, so I'm not going to take that. But you have to figure out what's bugging you. If you don't figure out what's bugging you, it's going to keep bugging you. And it's going to be there, and it's going to destroy parts of your feelings and your emotions. So it is a problem.
What is the role of our perspective?
How we look at things is it's not how we have it, how things are for us. It's how we perceive it. That's the way we do. That's what stress or stress management is really. It's all about mindset, how we tackle things. Nobody's going to have a perfect life and everything is going to be perfect all the time. But if you tackle it in a way that is good for you, you're not stressed. It's not going to stress you. But if you become a victim for the circumstances around you, then you have a problem and you are going to feel stressed out.
Dr. Annika, you've created a course about getting your life back. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, it's an online program. It is 8 modules. It goes for 3 months. It also has a Q&A. It's based on the Wheel of Life, and it contains all those 8 parts that I have in my Wheel of Life, and it's your body, or health rather, it's the mindset, it's the job, it's the free time, it's the money, and it's where you live, and it's your relations, and it's your intimate relations. And you can build your whole life in those 8 parts. And it's, like I said, 8 modules, and it goes on for 3 months, and we have monthly Q&As where you can ask all your questions, so I'm holding your hand along the way.
Why is the Get Your Life Back workshop so important for people?
The Get Your Life Back workshop is so important for people because you have to figure out what's the problem that's causing your stress. And this is a good way to find out how you can find what is your problem, what do you have to deal with, not what everybody else says, because there are so many courses or things out there that you can do, and that might not be what you need. You have to figure out what you need. That's the main thing, and then you get the road to walk afterwards, the one that's meant for you.
Dr. Annika Sorensen, thank you for coming here, Dr. Calm, and helping us get our lives back.
Thank you very much for having me.